I tell you this, you members of parliaments and another those some of you surrogates. Before you address an audience, Dayton Campbell, it happens on the other side too. Before you address an audience, you need to be aware of the audience.
You must know your audience.
You're preparing to talk to a group of people. Spend some time to figure out who these people are. You may want to probably understand their level of education, where they're from, whether they are males or females, what is their age preferences, where the age levels, all of that, you need to do that. And then you are going to build your presentation, target the audience. Now, the audience that the people speak to are the ones in front of them. That's the first mistake they are making. They are speaking to the people in front of them. That's almost fatal in today's day and age. And it borders on a lack of awareness, a lack of awareness, a lack of maturity in the development of these people. Because, quite frankly, your large audience is not in front of you.
Exactly.
You see a crowd in front of you of 2,000. Labour Party, this and blah, 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 blah. Not realizing that of those 2,000 people in front of you, maybe 1,000 of them have a phone and they are recording what you are saying and they are live. First of all, how does that others resonate? Is that you are giving the impression that Jamaica is okay? It is not okay, my friends. It is not. It is not.
It's a work in progress, neighbor.
The best politicians, you see, are the politicians who connect. The best politicians are the ones who are empathetic. Okay? Because I tell you this, if you know what? I'm not giving no more. Let's make it stop.
But neighbor, let me say this, neighbor. Let me say this to you. Neighbor, now what you would have outlined a while ago, I would agree to an extent. However, neighbor, the thing that I would say I have a problem with, neighbor, is more broader than that. Now, neighbor, you have the people who are more well-read and better understanding as to policies, strategies, and programs. Now, we understand that sometimes you don't want them speaking at the common man language. But, neighbor, to be very honest with you, these people have people who they look to for information who now mislead them with disinformation, neighbor. So that would also put a double negative on what you would have seen as already a negative. Because when you have the media houses not disseminating information in a manner for the people to comprehend and so forth, rather than mislead them or seek to set them maliciously against the government unfairly at that, neighbor, that's where I find the problem. Because the thing is, the politician has a duty to outline strategies, policies, and programs. And remember, neighbor, these are different set of things. You have to outline strategies, you have to outline programs. And you know, a lot of the time, pan a look broadcast, a look stage thing for outline everything about policies, strategies, and programs, neighbor. But you expect the people who would have been well read and easy of understanding of these things to help people who are not able to understand. Because the current affairs literacy, neighbor, it is in crisis in Jamaica. Not literacy per se, neighbor, but current affairs literacy. It is at crisis level, neighbor. The things that people have a growth against the government for are things that they could have negotiated with the government on or about. It doesn't warrant them being so like bitter, neighbor. I mean, the government would have done more good to the people than what they would have considered to be bad. So, neighbor, because the government is not perfect.
Tell your fellow colleagues too. You see, Gustav, that the people that they are online cussing out,
Wasting time.
maligning, they are wasting time. That they would be better served
Addressing the Jamaican people.
talking to Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Neighbor, you know, if you notice how me do my live, neighbor, I try to speak to Jamaicans.
I told you not. I said you are one of the best. You're one of the best political surrogate Labour Party has, and whenever I get a chance to talk to them, I'm going to tell them that you must get $5 million at the end of the election. $5 million.
Well, I know you're just being sarcastically
No,
ridiculous,
sir.
but
I am not, sir.
yeah.
No money. Money. You, sir. No, man. They can't pay you $5 million. Listen to me. I don't want them over here. You know, a lot of them don't come on this program. Don't come over here. I don't. You can move on. There are 130 persons that have joined the live now. You know how much is on the For You page, sir?
A whole lot. 1,000, probably 1,000.
You know how much? More than 500. Okay? We are talking to those people, sir. We want to convince.
It's gone.
We want to convert and convince those people to support one party or the other. You can't denigrate people. You can't disrespect people. Okay? And expect them to support you. You have to broaden the political tent and bring people in. Because I can tell you this, the people who have made up their mind to vote for the JLP can't make the party win. You can't make that, they can't make the party win. The party is going to win when the people who have not yet made up their minds, this breaks for either side. And those are the people who want to listen to issues. Those are the people who want to know where is it that you're taking them. Right? You switch from live to live, you go from live to live, you hear the same set of people, the same things over and over and over again. Nothing new. Right?
That is true.
It's a waste of time. Right? What you want to do is to speak to the Jamaican people. That's who you need to talk to. You're talking to an audience that you already have. They ain't changing their mind. You're not convincing those people.
I think one of the things that I find, and if you go on their platform and you express your view, they kick you off and they tell you you're confused, you're this, you're that, is that they keep preaching to the choir, they keep talking to themselves. And they spend 4 hours and from time to time they'll take up this guy, what is his name? The detractors that keep coming in. And they waste a lot of time with them. Rather than what I would love to see, because I am not a politician, I really don't know much about the political preaching. But from a common sense point of view, is to package your messages, and then they sit among themselves and say, okay, fine, you are going to speak on this issue. These are the points that you're going to address. And they use their lives productively and make each moment count. I don't see that. I don't. I mean, I see it's very. I see that in a limited way among the JLP bloggers, because I really listen to the PNP bloggers because all you get is propaganda, and I think I have enough of that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we lost my friend from we lost my friend from St. Elizabeth Northeastern. I don't know if he's gonna be coming back.
He probably will be coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. In the meantime, yes. So I haven't seen my forecaster yet. I suspect that he probably is having a difficult day. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see who is on. Let me see who is on. All right. So we have a little time here. So if you want to talk with us, then please send the request and we will admit you so we can pursue what it is that you want to pursue.
Yes,
All right. So how you see the election going now, my friend?
If I'm to go by public sentiments, then I would want to lean towards the Labour Party. But if I'm to go by what I'm hearing on the ground, then I would say they have a lot of work to do, and they do have a lot of work to do because one of the criticism that I have is much of the persons who are blogging for the Jamaica Labour Party do not live in Jamaica.
They don't live here.
Yes, what they say matters, and they can influence minds and they can influence people. Those who live here, most of them are professionals and so forth, so they don't really have any time to go out and to mingle with the ordinary people. But there need to be a connection between the those who are in the know, because apparently they communicate with each other, and those who are on the ground as party workers, because I haven't seen any of them in my area. You look, I know that the PNP are knocking on doors and they are gaining votes in places where I don't see no JLP people trying to convince persons. You need boots on the ground. I mean, I know that the PNP are basically coming from behind, because if an election is called today, the Jamaica Labour Party more than likely win, but by a small majority. But I would want to see them, more like a relay thing, and the ordinary persons are less likely to be confused by the propaganda, and that they are telling the facts, because sometimes the facts are there staring you in the face, but because people are not that politically savvy, they have a hard time making up their mind, and they tend to fall for the usual thing that comes on at election time, the gimmicks, and some other stuff that comes into play.
What are the issues that you think are at play in the election coming? What do you think people are looking for? What are they going to be voting on?
People are more or less concerned with is my life better? The question you asked earlier, is my life better off
than it was 9 years ago?
Than it was 9 years ago.
And do you think genuinely that things are better in Jamaica than they were in 2016? So is there a positive outlook for Jamaica?
There is a positive outlook for Jamaica, and I have to tell you why. For those who follow the news, I can recall it has been in the pipeline now for years, and I wouldn't want to use the word pipeline in a general way to explain anything as regards to this
But
government.
as a former comrade, you can use that word. It is a word that your party.
No, I am still a comrade. I mean,
You're still a comrade.
I am still a comrade.
But I'm a little bit. Hold on there for me, sir. Hold on there. Don't move. You are. So how you are? I'm going to be echoing a bit.
You
are
can
still
let me explain something to you. You'll have a Democrat voting Republican, but they're still a Democrat, aren't they?
So you are saying that the progressive agenda that the Labour Party is pursuing, you're going to be voting for that.
Exactly.
And you're going to vote for that as a supporter of the People's National Party.
Yes.
Have you ever voted Labour before?
Yes, I have.
So it's not the first time.
No. I've voted both parties. I'm not a what you call it, a dyad or a tribalist, no.
Yes, but you don't see anything coming out of the opposition now that would you would vote for.
I wouldn't say I don't see anything. Is they have something, but it is not credible. Take for instance the housing thing with Mark Bowling and that he mentioned. They don't convince me. They're not very convincing. And then they have the people who they have who are their surrogates. Really, I think they should be. They're not very. It doesn't grab me. It doesn't sell, and they use. Well, I don't really have anything against certain persons, but they use too much of a particular set of people, and I'm beginning to wonder what has they promised them. And it's the same old propaganda. They tend to come up with find false, but what would you do or what would you implement to make this thing work? You're not getting that from them. Is all you're getting is time come. I remember seeing one as political aspirant. I'm not talking a councillor or a blogger, a political aspirant. Tell Jamaica, what do you mean by time come? And all the person did was to repeat the question because they don't know what it means themselves.
But as a comrade, you tell us. You tell us what it means.
As I said before, I don't really buy into this current PNP, so I don't really put much into what they say.
What would they have to do to regain your support?
All right. Here's the thing is, you can't erase history, and history is against them. This is what. All right. They will have to look. All right. Look at what the government is doing now, and if you're gonna look at agriculture, if you're gonna look at say manufacturing. If you're gonna look at tourism, you look at all the other sectors. And let me look at education, for instance. That is one of the weaknesses of the government. And what they need to do is to hammer home the weak. Well, I mean, I'll give them a talking point, to be honest with you. I really don't, I'm not going to give them any talking points. If they were a viable opposition, then I could give them some talking points, but I'm not going to.
That is a devastating statement you just made, sir. That they are not viable?
No, they're not.
No, but this is almost dismissing them as irrelevant.
No, I'm not saying that they're not irrelevant,
You said they are not viable. If a thing is not viable, it actually means that it's not substantive. It has no real.
I think what he means, neighbor, it basically saying that Jamaica needs an opposition. However, it is sad that Jamaica needs an opposition and the PNP finds itself in the state that it is in right now, neighbor.
No, he's saying more on that, sir. He's saying the opposition is not viable. In other words, it shouldn't even be considered for political office.
But neighbor, realistically speaking, neighbor, let us go by data and let us also go by reality, neighbor. No, the thing is, for the democratic process and for democracy to strive, we need an opposition, neighbor. Notwithstanding that, neighbor, Jamaica would have had its fair share of the PNP being in government for consecutive years, uninterrupted, neighbor. No, when you have a movement like that politically, that would have been prolifically being able to come out victorious, neighbor, and yet, after so many years, neighbor, they are struggling for a track record that resonates and hits the people. That every time they see the PNP word and color, something hits their mind to say, oh God, I wonder if we must really go against this movement after all. Look on the amount of good than they do. Neighbor, the people are in no conundrum. The people who are not comrades, neighbor, they are in no conundrum as to how failing the PNP was, neighbor. Comrades are in denial because they would have suffered it, neighbor. But because they are comrades, neighbor, some would hide and whisper the truth, while some would make it
Is that
public,
not
neighbor.
over? Is that not overplaying your hand there, though, Gustav? I don't see that really in terms of PNP's strength on the ground.
Neighbor, no, that
not
is it,
viable.
neighbor. No, neighbor. When I was cut off, or prior to me getting cut off, neighbor, I was using the line of argument to say this. The current affairs literacy of Jamaica, it is in crisis. No, that does not mean that we have illiterate people all the time in the electoral process. What it means,
but it means that the people are disinterested, Gustav.
I would not say disinterested is the word, neighbor. They are uninformed as to how policies, strategies, and programs of government.
But whose fault is that?
It is the fault of one. Let us not exempt the people, because the people too must be held culpable for their actions. And also the system in terms of the structuring and dissemination of information, and also the mediums that the system channels its information
to correct that.
To me, neighbor, it is been identified and it is been corrected. However, the results to come from it in terms of merit will not happen in 2 terms, neighbor, because we would have been already having a nation of people that would have been inculcated with beliefs, not reality, neighbor. Notice, these people were fed beliefs. In other words, neighbor, they were taught to believe that the PNP was best and is best for Jamaica. However, neighbor,
when you have had 9 years to change that perception.
That is it, neighbor.
Why
9 years. Neighbor, we're speaking about generations, neighbor. And whilst we're speaking about generations, let us dig into this. So you have a generation of people who, no matter what you do, neighbor, you can convince them with the truth and provide them with the truth. And they will be antithetical to the truth conveniently, just to suit their PNP narrative. You have some other people, neighbor, they just believe what they hear first. And no matter what you tell them after, they don't want you to show them anything, neighbor, and they're not going to read nothing after. Here why, neighbor? They say it sounds too good to be true. So therefore, when you come and say a lie, neighbor, they must say, no, so this sounds too true. And not even allowing themselves to get the facts. Neighbor, I speak based on how I interact with somebody last night. Neighbor, I was presenting facts to 2 young men, neighbor. My friends, these are young men who are my friends, neighbor, about a road that a councillor is putting paternity on, neighbor, that was done by the MP now. Neighbor, even when I drew for the evidence, I could not convince the men as to the facts as how the man that would have fed them the lie would have. So these are the type of people you're dealing with, neighbor. You expect 9 years to change these type of people? Neighbor, it's going to be a people that determines how forward thinking they are and not necessarily how somebody determine how forward thinking they act.
But here's the thing, one other thing, I think a lot of the JLP bloggers are have their lost understanding. This is what makes up the PNP, and I can tell you this because that's how I was socialized. The PNP is primarily made up of. Yeah, well,
My friend said that
I was saying something, but
the opposition is not a viable.
Well, put it this way: viable. Then maybe you'd rather the word
Opposition.
effective. Maybe viable is too strong a term, but let me use the word. They're not really effective.
But Mr. Prime, regardless of neighbor rigorously digging into you, you are just double down, Mr. Prime. This is neighbor being analytical, and that is not wrong. What neighbor is doing is being analytical and so forth. You are on solid grounds. Why would you want to rearrange the grounds that you're on, sir, when you're on solid, factual, undiluted grounds, sir?
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Sir, you're actually supposed to be doubling down even when the analyst is trying to have you off the reality. That is his job. So you're going to dig further now into the reality as to why you must double down and will insist on doubling down, sir. Come on. The PNP is not a viable option, sir.
The PNP, you say, is not viable. It is a strong,
not viable, sir.
It's a strong description of an opposition that came close to winning the local government election just last year, February.
But neighbor, you can't use that as a yardstick. What was the turnout like?
Exactly, man. So you dig into the thing, man. Dig into the thing, Mr. Prime, man. Come on. Yeah, man. I love that. Dig into it, man. Double down.
Exceptionally low, and at the time, that was what that is the election that is gonna set a precedence going forward for local government election. People have now become more informed of what local governance is all about. So I can guarantee you that the next local government election is going to be a different thing as to who will come out.
We are not talking about any local government elections. No,
I'm just making the comparison.
Yeah, this
All right,
is the
point to
big
note,
bracket.
neighbor. Point to note, neighbor.
No, but hold on, Gustav. The
problem.
the man is saying that the opposition is not a viable opposition. I am trying to get my listeners to understand the gravamen of that statement. That is a profound statement for a man to make.
I will double down with him too, neighbor.
Who claims that he is a supporter of the opposition of the PNP? How you make such a statement?
Oh, neighbor, maybe you're not understanding it.
Oh, you bet I do.
All right, here's the thing. I am not affiliated to either party. I am not going to go around and tell people, say, I'm a shower or a laborer. Yes, I grew up and I am still, it's hard to, I'm not going to be ashamed of my past. I'll be ashamed of, my family, so to speak. I still embrace still embraces it. However, we are living in a different political paradigm now. So I'll have to embrace the reality that confronts me.
Yes, and you don't see them as viable.
I don't see them as a viable opposition.
No. Did you listen to the opposition leader's budget presentation?
Lord have mercy. Which I did. I did.
Did you, sir?
I did.
And you don't think there was any viability there?
Well, much of what he said, but is already being done by the government. So there wasn't really anything new. And somehow a lot of what he said is not, budgetary or monetary, it would not work out. It would not pan out. It would bankrupt the government and take us back to where we are coming from.
For example?
They're coming with sympathy for the people, neighbor, and this government is offering an opportunity So therefore, the sympathy will not help these people. They're only thinking that it will, neighbor. And the PNP strategies, policies, and programs tend to offer sympathy there and so.
Yes.
Right. Given the situation that the country faces from what you call it now, a geopolitical point of view, and the challenges that are ahead, you need somebody who have a hands-on experience of how to navigate their way around these. You cannot place into the hand of what you calling people novices, so to speak. And I wouldn't really chance it. That I mean,
You're not saying that Golden is a novice, sir.
Novice to what is going on around him. I mean, of course he's a novice.
But I thought we established earlier that this man is an investment banker,
Right.
a lawyer,
Mhm.
a former justice minister. Yes. I don't see novice there, sir.
No, when I said novice, I mean in dealing with the all right. Let us say you had him dealing with the COVID situation, taking us out of COVID to where we are. What do you think Jamaica would look like today?
Well, hypothetical conjectures probably is a little stretch because we don't know. We would have to have placed him in a position like that to form a judgment. For example, were you around when there was a chikungunya, sir?
Yes, I was.
Yes, and that actually cost the minister his job, Dr. Ferguson.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to if you were to use like Mr. What's his name, Tufton, you would. I don't think he would do a far better job because they have more information on and his approach is far different.
Yeah. What would you recommend to your party to improve their viability? Right now, what would you recommend?
No, okay. You're trying to put me into a position. They're not my party. They're not my
Yes.
party.
You just supported them at one time.
Yes, I would have voted for them. Yes.
Give them some free advice tonight, sir. Give them some free advice. They are searching for viability.
I
What are
can't
they
do
to
that,
do?
and I tell you why. If I give them if I do that, then I'll be like playing a game of domino and showing the other person your hand. Where my vision is to stand with this current government. Now, if that being the case, it means that I am going to give.
In other words, their viability means nothing to you right now. You don't really matter whether they're viable.
Right now. No.
My goodness gracious, sir, you're why I tell you, but I think that many of your friends listening to you may be wondering whether or not you really were a supporter.
Let me tell you something. You see, my 4 parents are Cubans. I grew up. Well, all my families I know from cousins, and it's a large family, all support the PNP. Every one of them. But it is a different PNP from. Well, I said, let me put it this way: the way we think and analyze things is different from talking to these people and listening to them. We were intelligent. We reason with people. It was a different set of thinking, how we articulate things, how we understand the politics. It was different. I don't know if it's something that has gotten in the water that they're drinking. It is a totally different set of
You
people.
mean PNP drinks a different type of water, sir?
No, they said that is there now. The people that is out there, like in social media, even at the party level,
They're
I don't know.
intoxicated.
That's totally different, and totally different set of people in terms
No,
of
no.
this.
Are they intoxicated?
I think they're not in touch with the reality of the world in which we're living in.
Because they are intoxicated.
Yes, I'd want to think so. You want to use that term.
So before they talk, they take a sip of the whites.
Well, when I say intoxicated, I mean with the old doctrine, so to speak.
Oh, you're not referring to
No, not Jerry.
the
not
spirit.
Jerry. No, not the spirit. No.
Not the spirit, I see.
I think what they have failed to do is to, as the Prime Minister would have alluded or intimated, is to pivot to a modern. Look what China did. No, you couldn't find a more leftist government than China.
Yes.
And China would have pivot. Even look at Cuba. If Cuba wasn't facing those sanctions, and they had the opportunity, even under the leadership, they would be a far better, they would be probably quite competitive in many ways. But let leave Cuba, because Cuba is really basically there against Europe. You can think of China, and you can think of a lot of countries who are leftist-leaning countries, and they would have pivoted. And if you go in our stores nowadays, or you want anything, if it's not made in Thailand, even Cambodia, and you must know about Cambodia and Pol Pot and all those people,
My forecaster is online. I'm past my bedtime, so I'm going to have to wrap up with you soon. You hear, sir?
That's okay.
You don't have to leave. It's nice talking to you. And I tell you this, sir. I don't know if you follow my page. We are trying to put a team together to cover the election. I'd love to have you on as an analyst as we my moderator. Can you please make sure that this gentleman's number gets into our so that we can he says that the opposition is not viable, and that is significant. Prime time, his name is Mr. Slowly.
Mr. Slowly is gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. All right. So Casey, we back here, man.
Yes, we're back. We're finally back.
Finally back. The technology sometimes gets the better of us, eh?
Yes, and sometimes we're traveling, and sometimes we're not at the ideal place. We have to juggle other work with this work, so it's like that.
That's right. So last night, Casey, you took us to Manchester, and it has generated much concern, the information that you gave to us. Would you like to just summarize the information you gave us last night on Manchester, and then go to Clarendon? And I think we will cover Clarendon, and then we'll end until tomorrow. Would you do that for me?
Okay, yes.
All right, so listeners, please, I'm going to turn over now to the political forecaster, and he's going to do a brief summary of the political position of Manchester, and then he's going to go over to Clarendon. Stay tuned, all right? Over to you, Casey.
Yes, good night. As I told you before, neighbor, Manchester will be one of the closest parish this election, and it still remains a very close parish. Previously, I had 1 safe seat and 3 seats up for grabs. And I've now taken the Northeast Manchester out of the safe column for the JLP. So Manchester have no safe seat. However, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my data is concerned, Northeast Manchester is still very much in favor of the Jamaica Labour Party. But their lead has been cut because they have yet to start up the election machinery in that constituency, and the PNP have been campaigning non-stop. PNP have been doing their work, but the JLP organization in that constituency have been dormant. So, on that note, I think, and I know the supporters are worried. I don't think the party leader and the general secretary is necessarily worrying, but I spoke to a lot of supporters, even delegates, that are worried. The PNP is getting stronger and stronger in that constituency, but they're still not strongest. Over in central Manchester, it's still up for grab. It's still a battleground. There have been a political realignment, as I tell you, so it cannot be said that PNP have the strongest support in the constituency, because the JLP over the last 10 years or so have tapped into voters that have not been taking part in the process. And that's why the JLP come up with so much surprise in recent elections. So as far as the support on the ground in central Manchester is concerned, it's 50-50. I think the JLP still have an edge nationally, and that should help them. And the X factor in that constituency is Rhoda Mar Crawford, one of the best MP Jamaica and central Manchester have ever seen. So I still think that's a battleground, and I'm betting my money on Rhoda Mar Crawford. Over in South Manchester now, South Manchester is a revived seat that still has stronger support for the PNP. However, the JLP won it the last election by almost 900 votes.
Yeah.
I think about 890. And the JLP have done well as a government, but they have missed an opportunity, because the general consensus is that their MP, the one who got the nod, who got the chance from the people, did not perform. And then that was confirmed by the party themselves, moving him through the democratic process. So that's a missed opportunity in South Manchester for the JLP. And that would have, they would have lost some points on that. However, PNP have revived in South Manchester, but they have not gained any points, because they are still behind on a national basis, and the candidate they send there is coming from central Manchester and does not have a good track record. So it's also a missed opportunity for the PNP. So I have that as a toss-up, another battleground. The one to watch is.
I noticed that you did not. I noticed that you did not wager a bet, as you did in central Manchester. You said your money was on Rhoda. Who are you betting on over there in South?
It's still a toss-up. I'm getting good
what
news.
Gives you, back up a little.
I'm getting.
What gives you the confidence that young Crawford, Rhoda, is able to pull this off? What gives you that confidence?
No, that's the opinion of majority of the people in the constituency on the type of MP she is, in comparison to the opinion on the MPs before her. if you do a poll about the hardest working MP in the constituency, it will be Rhoda Mike Crawford. Now, I sit and ask myself, based on the data I got, I interpret it as nobody wants to lose this MP. Why would you vote against this MP? You will not vote against her, want to vote against her, unless you are a comrade. So,
And you don't think that the election is going to come down to the diehards?
The election never come down to the diehards. The diehards are the diehards. They are where they are. That's why there is a campaign. That's why there is messaging. That's why people campaign on performance and achievement. And that's why people create reason for to say people have not performed enough.
Yeah, and how many of our people are really issue voters? How many?
I'd say 35 to 40%. And I'll split that down the middle because most just really look at what they see going on or what they understand. How are things flowing for them? How are they seeing the road, the water? While others are more in depth. The other half is more abreast with what's going on in the country. The other half is more abreast with...
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Info. The other half is...
That one particular seat, and I said before, I mean, it goes driving at the conversation like that, but I'm looking at one particular seat on election night, and I'm getting good feedback from that seat. And I said to you before, hello neighbor, and the rest of the listeners, them and the persons who are watching, that Southeast Senton going to be a battleground on election night.
Yes, but we are in Manchester going over to Clarendon.
I've been looking into that info, and we shall have more on that. But,
so where are you now, KC? Where are you now?
We're in Manchester.
Which of the seat?
Go ahead, KC.
I'm talking about central Manchester and the impact the MP should have come this election, because
I think that seat is going to come down to loyalty, KC. Do they loyal to Rhoda for the work she has been doing? Or do they want to go back to the PNP? Or do they want to honor Rhoda as a person from the constituency? What about factor? I think the factors favors Rhoda because they have never seen so much work. And I think she have the advantage with the factors. I think the advantage favors she.
That's what I'm saying. I think that is my X factor, why I give Rhoda Mike Crawford the edge. I think she is able to draw more voters who was not interested in the democratic process than her opponent. I think she is more of an X factor. I think she have a better pull, and she have done the work to make her stronger. And if the messaging, if the information can go across, good. If they can find a way to put across the information, because I myself have been looking and I'm like, wow, she have done a lot. Every year, in the COVID year and after the COVID years, she never stopped working. I hear she said she was sick at one point. But when I checked, work was still going on. She have worked. She have done 2 MP work. And I'm not here campaigning for her. I'm just trying to give you the information that I found. So
all right, Casey, push it forward. We don't have a lot of time. So you are over in South. You move from Central and you go to South.
Yes. And I still think South is a toss-up, South Manchester is one of those constituency that you would be thinking, yes, the JLP will keep this, but with Robert Chin underperforming as far as JLP is concerned, that was a missed opportunity for the JLP, and they have let back the PNP in South Manchester. However, PNP haven't grabbed the opportunity with both hands, because sending Peter Bunting to South Manchester, with the exception of the money available to be spent, it's a bad decision, because he was literally next door for all these years, and his track record is not good. It is well documented that his CDF is left for the other MP to spend. So there was also no effort to make the people's lives better. So South Manchester is not seeing anything over central that Peter Bunting is bringing. So it's a missed opportunity by the PNP also. But however, I can tell you, with the PNP campaigning, they have woken up their base, and they are stronger in South Manchester than they were in 2020. The JLP is also strong in South Manchester, and based on what I understand, Ian Ives can be a very strong candidate. But as to his political nose, I don't know, so I'll have to keep watching. But that one is up for grabs. It will be up for grabs.
He's a formidable candidate, you know. He's a formidable. Ian Ives has turned out to be a formidable candidate.
Yeah, I know that he is well loved, and the people are optimistic in the constituency. But then from now to the election, I think that's where we will know who he is and what he is really about as far as running a political campaign is concerned. Because make no joke about it, Peter Bunting knows how to win. He knows how to run a campaign. If anything, he is a winner. Yeah, he has tons of experience on that.
A former General Secretary of the People's National Party?
Of the People's National Party. One of the person who may have created one of the biggest upset in the political history of Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, right here in Southeast Clarendon.
Yes.
He got the better of the former Prime Minister, Eula Soshera.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
notwithstanding with the question marks hanging over that election, I am from there. I know much.
Well, I'm here to info, as you know, but
transpire smooth, so win smooth.
Yes. And that's another thing. He knows how to win. However, he wins.
No,
so that's not something to take for granted.
Casey knows how to win. Technology never end then. That's why he hard to win now.
Well, let's see. Go
to Northwest Manchester, because St. Elizabeth is big. You have 6 constituencies to cover there.
Yes. Northwest Manchester. I love my Northeast Manchester, so my mouth will slip every now and then. Northwest Manchester, traditionally PNP ground. It is shifting. And in some instances, it seems to be shifting on its own, without the trajectory of the country nor the parish, because the work in Northwest Manchester that is being done by the challenger is different. Damien Young, he is the X factor. He is the most impactful challenger of all the candidates challenging in the country right now.
Hold on, Casey. That is significant. Say that again.
Yes. Damien Young is the most impactful challenger of all the MP aspirants that challenging
Incumbent.
an incumbent MP right now. He has gained celebrity status in Northwest Manchester, and whatever the PNP and the incumbent come with, he will be able to match them. I'm a bit concerned about Northeast Manchester losing some of its strength, because I know Northeast Manchester's strength, especially in the Craighead division, trickle over to Northwest, and Northwest is going to be a nail-biting finish, and I think Damien Young have what it takes to take them over the line. Notwithstanding, it will be a battleground and it's up for grabs. And some people, as I said, you can't write off incumbent MP. You can't call a seat. I don't call a seat for the challenger if the incumbent is still there. So, but for me, calling it 50-50, it's a win for the JLP and Damien Young, because they would have had to win many times to get here. Win many times to get here. I'm hearing feedback.
Question
A little
to
break
you,
up there,
Wunba.
KC. A little break up there.
Yes.
On the matter of if you
Go
voters,
ahead, go ahead, Foresight.
Yeah, on the matter of if you voters, would you agree that they are the hardest to count and they mostly show up on election night? You mostly would have, you usually have to wait on the election night to hear from the bulk of the issue voters.
Foresight, I'm trying to understand the question, because you have to wait until election night to wait on all votes.
No, man, all right. The diehards, you know where they're going to vote from now. They are allowed. But if your voters, it's hard for them to count. They are usually remain quiet, and you don't know.
Yes. So when I'm forecasting, when I'm forecasting the issue voters, I forecast the issues, not the voters. I forecast the impact and how I forecast how the issues are being dealt with and the impact it would have. Because if somebody vote on road, I look at the amount of road that is being fixed in the constituency and the impact it's having. If somebody vote on policies and platforms and plans, I look at the plan of the two candidates or of the party.
And that is why I think if the JLP even have a slight edge going into the election, then they would have a big advantage than would be able to detect, because the issue voter, the people who are voting for the road and water would have remained quiet. I think it.
Yes, it should be that way, but everybody, why it's not like that? It's not. The JLP is not running away with it from the looks of things, Foresight. Something is off.
I think the campaign.
It's not. Yeah, the campaign has not started yet officially, but something is off. 35 to 44 seat for the JLP. It is forecasted. So I think there will be a campaign after this.
Right.
But the issues now, as they stand, I am giving it to you to help you understand more where the chips may fall.
So Northwest is looking
Northwest is looking
stronger and stronger for the JLP.
for the JLP.
As the time progresses.
Yes. And it's very strong for the PNP too. The PNP support in Northwest won't go anywhere now. What Damian Young and the JLP will have to do is to get maybe record amount of votes.
Yeah, new voters.
Yes, I think Damian Young has the ability to influence electorate, people on the voters list that wouldn't normally vote, to vote for him. I don't think Mr. Michael Phillips have that ability, nor will have that pull, being a candidate there for 3 terms already.
So you're not seeing a lot of conversion, like from PNP to JLP?
There are a few, but I don't think that will be enough to bring home the bacon. That is very important too. But you can't depend on PNP to vote for JLP in a general election, you know.
Yes, that's true.
Remember, there are stigmas in those constituencies. A lot of people are PNP and have been voting PNP because being PNP seems like the thing to do there.
This tradition on grouping that family and, you know?
All right, Casey. Let's move over to Clarendon. To Clarendon, yes?
Clarendon is a much easier parish to run through, neighbor. Clarendon is a much easier parish because I'll start from the south with Clarendon. There's southeast Clarendon. It's a safe JLP seat, and JLP will tally maybe 11,000 votes this time around for Pernell Charles Jr.
Oh, okay.
Southeast Clarendon. Southwest Clarendon is a safe PNP seat, and PNP maybe will extend their lead also. And Central Clarendon is a safe JLP seat, and Delroy Williams will take it home for the Jamaica Labour Party. Up in North Central Clarendon, there was a bit of work to do to be comfortable, but I think it's safe. I think Nestor Morgan is a very good MP and a very good minister, and the JLP should win North Central Clarendon comfortably. Not West Clarendon, however, like South Manchester, we missed the opportunity by underperforming. And then...
That is Sybil's?
No, not Northwest. Philip Enriquez. Yes, and then had to change the MP and would have lost some momentum in the constituency. They have Richard Azan, who has his support, have been there since 2002. That's the first time I think he contested that seat. He won 2002, he won 2011, he won 2016. He lost 2007, he lost 2020 in the last election. But he is a mainstay there. He's not somebody that will go somewhere else to run. And another thing you should know about Richard Azan, his support is permanent and consistent. And you will know where you need to go, how you need to go about it, how much you need. It's a numbers game. How much you will need from which division in order to beat Richard Hazan. Warren Newby have enough time to do that because he is Warren Newby.
Well, another interesting point about that seat, though.
Let me finish. Yeah. Yes. Warren Newby knows how to do that, but it's no walkover. It will not be an easy constituency to win. And I think it will be a tough battle. It will be a tough battle, but anybody can win it. And That's another constituency that normally Northwest and Northern Clarendon normally goes together,
Yeah,
hands
what I
in
was saying.
hands. And Northern Clarendon is going to be in the column of the Jamaica Labour Party. Dwight Sibley's will not be voted out. He will extend his margin. He's a very good MP, and
Okay.
he's loved. Yes, he have shown Northern Clarendon that they can have good MP. He's somebody they have been yearning for. I know people talk about this Clarendon, this Indian town where they lost the by-election last time around by 50 votes. And I will tell you that in order for if Indian town is won by the PNP by less than 300 votes, it normally means JLP will win Northern Clarendon.
But
Okay.
let me just
Let me just say something before the sale prime, before the conversation got too far. Another thing to note though about the Richard
Northwest.
Advantage, right?
Yes.
Is that it's very receptive to new entrants, as would have seen with Michael Stern, Felipe Enriquez. I think Michael Stern, Felipe Enriquez and Michael Stern, and I think as an Atlas that's it twice to new entrants. So I just wanted to make that point though. Fresh candidate.
all right.
And I think Warren
I want to
Newby is a
ask,
strong candidate. Yeah.
Casey,
Foresight. I want you to note that Northwest Clarendon have a strong JLP base, It have a really strong JLP base that if the candidate is able to really wake up that base, know where to go and what to do, JLP will always have a good chance in that constituency. But Richard Azan is strong and is one of them where the support he has is permanent.
Yeah, let me just say quickly. I don't know to what extent how much canvassing you'd have done in Northern Clarendon, in areas such as Kellits and the broader Crosshill area. Crosshill is a very huge community.
Big division, yeah.
How will it Crosshill, if people turn out to vote and the PNP should get a large support in the general Crosshill area, how will that impact the outcome of the election?
Well, the thing is, that constituency is a constituency. Well, you're never sure where the people will go. People like to put things like this, that if the people come out and vote in a particular area, a particular party will win. It's not really like that, And if you notice, all right, for instance, 2011, I think if you check the votes per division, the PNP would have won all the division. The Craft Hill voters may come out and vote, and it impacts the JLP better than it impacts PNP too, because let me tell you something about that division. The constant, the permanent, the people that always vote for one party. So when there's a big turnout, it's people who normally stay away from the process, comes with a different view. And if you look at the history of the election, you will know. You might put Cross Hill Division as a strong PNP constituency, but the PNP need to win Cross Hill by some 600 to win the election. And they may get that. But with a strong turnout, a lot of undecided vote, depends on where the wind is blowing. it might bring up 300 more JLP votes. So you never know.
All right.
Mhm.
Based on what I'm seeing, and the People National Party supporters love to ask me to, why don't I take the last local government election into consideration and factor it in? I factor it all the time, you know, but they don't know. I factor it, and I factor it with a lot of other things. It was a strong PNP performance, and with all the votes coming from everywhere, and the PNPs won the by-election after the JLP candidate who won have passed away. The PNP would have still lost Northern Clarendon as a constituency, despite the poor showing of the JLP in that local government election. And that tells you something.
All right. The reason why I asked you about that area is that I am from that area.
Yeah.
And there are something that I believe if the government does, and they have enough time to do it, fix the road, address the water situation, and then they can really, it's really, they don't have to do much campaign. Just fix the road.
Okay.
Is that traditionally
to check.
A PNP division?
Not
necessarily, no, not really. Mix. Mix.
You need to check with Nestor Morgan. He's a very nice guy.
No, it's just Nestor Morgan is siblings, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, but Nestor Morgan is the one responsible for the spark program.
It's his portfolio. And you might text him and he tell you that, yes, we have it on a program, and all the program cannot be done one time. The government have made it so easy for people to go online and check out which roads are on those programs and when they will start.
Yeah, go on their website, but you have a lot of things that put in your memory.
Yeah.
I don't really remember exactly when that's gonna start.
But that is it. If it's not going to start, no, then the people need to know. At least they can look forward.
Yes, they can communicate. They need to know because they have waited. I have family up there, and I would have asked because you want to go and look for your family, but I do not want to go up there with the road in the condition that I hear it is in. I am not going to go up there.
Okay, well, road is been fixed that haven't fixed for that haven't been fixed for 60 years. So I would think that those roads are also on the agenda.
And that is why I can't understand why people still vote for the government for that, even if they don't get the road fixed by the time the election comes, because you can look forward to getting it fixed.
I told you foresight that there's a percentage of people that vote on what they actually see. There's some who only understand what they see, you know.
Yes.
I hear analysts keep on telling you how much people don't understand GPD and NIR and those things.
It's a farming community. Farmers need road and water.
Yes. So that constituency is going, most people will tell you that it's going to be one to watch. It's going to be one to watch.
I believe so.
Yes, I think the MP will retain that seat.
He believes?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because that's one constituency I never used to get. I never used to know anything that's happening here. So very interesting.
Roads are being fixed there, you know, but it's upper class.
Yes, I can tell you that. Prime time. Roads have been fixed there. A lot more roads have been fixed there than under the previous MP.
Yes, but
I can tell you that. But you know the people. When the people are used to vote in a particular way, then they get a change. They say they give you a chance, especially who didn't really give you a chance because they didn't want you to get a chance. They are the one who are judging you now on everything. They need everything to fix now. You understand? That's how it is.
In the first term. Because this is Sibley's first term, right?
No, second.
No,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
his first term. It's his first term. You know.
His first term.
Yeah, man.
I think 2016 he was campaign manager, I think, somewhere up in West Rural, St. Andrew.
Who he took over from?
Sibley is from that era, Casey?
I think so, but I'll have to check. But he wasn't running there in 2016.
Yeah, man, he's a first time MP.
Oh yes, he's his first time. Yeah, he's first time.
And that's why I can understand, because if you have an MP now that is fixing at least some roads,
His seat and Northwest St. Anne are the two seats of the 15 that the JLP took from the PNP to add to their 34 that I don't see the PNP taking back.
But Northwest St. Anne to be.
Nesta is a first time MP too? Casey or second?
Nesta Morgan, yeah, he's a first time MP. He took over from Colonel Charles Sr.
Oh, okay.
Was that safe JP seat though?
Should be, yeah.
Final one, Casey.
Is there another?
Where Hines?
That is Sibley's.
That is the same. That is Sibley's.
Okay, and newbie?
We went there.
Yeah, man, he spoke about newbie.
Okay. All right. So that's gonna be it for tonight then, Casey.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have a lot. I have a lot of work here on St. Mary.
On St. Mary?
I have a whole lot of work on St. Mary, all the developments, all the possibilities.
Do you have time to go to St. Mary?
I think St. Mary is tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right.
Yes.
Jamaican girl, are you there?
I would only be interested. Would you just give a little idea what's happening on the ground here in Central St. Mary, Casey?
It's a war. It's a fight in Central St. Mary, especially Central St. Mary. And what I can tell you, the JLP supporters are very optimistic in Central St. Mary, more optimistic than they have ever been.
Wow.
Yes. They are very optimistic in that part of the island.
But they would have to tune in tomorrow, Casey, to hear all of that.
Yes. And I should tell you to foresight. Coming close in Central St. Mary. All right. Gaining 3-4 points in Central St. Mary might still not be enough. But it would be evident to the JLP supporter that we are gaining strength.
Right.
Yeah. Central St. Mary is interesting. It's interesting to see where it goes, or if this trend continue. If this trend continue, it will be closer than we think it should have been, because we in the world of forecasting and political analysts normally, I think we all expect St. Mary to be a safe PNP seat. And for me personally, I always think the introduction of Omar Newell, a new standard bearer, would have helped the PNP, because I tell you already, based on what I'm seeing and how I see the political landscape and how the electorate behave, if this marriage was going up against the former MP, Dr.
Morris Guy?
Morris Guy, the PNP would be losing Central St. Mary.
Oh, yeah?
I think, yes. I think they realize his time has come.
Maybe that's
And
what
whatever problem Newell faced comes from Morris Guy's legacy.
Oh.
I know people will look at it the other way and say they're weak. They are weaker because Guy left. But Guy wouldn't be able to put up another challenge.
You think a failing pass?
Yes. And I think Omar Newell may be able to get them over the line because it's a constituency with a very strong PNP base. And as I tell you, if you're PNP, you will want to find a reason to still vote for the PNP. And you are an excuse and you can say, okay, it wasn't Newell. He deserves a chance now. But I think Maraj should keep on doing the work.
You think people are confused, KC, in choosing between, making up their mind between what they are seeing and what they are hearing? Meaning the propaganda versus the performance.
The thing is, the people who are in the political, let's say, the people who are in the hierarchy, who are chosen to do certain political work, are expert at it, All right. Remember, Ralston Iman can tell you that the NIR is borrowed money because the government, it comes from the IMF, go to the NIR, and then the BOJ give the government the Jamaican equivalent to spend. So in other words, it's money like exchange rate, But in saying that, he expertly put it as if the government just borrowed money and put in the NIR. So he didn't really give who don't understand the option to think that. But the money that the BOJ give to the government to spend, it's still the government money. They could easily have used that money to buy US and put in the NIR. So they had it. You understand? I just use that as an example to show you when people are spinning things, they know how to spin it. So if you have 4 fixed road and 4 that is not fixed, the opposition will campaign on the 4 that is not fixed. Exactly. And they will have video and audio and they will put it all over the place. So I will say, yes, people are confused sometimes about
why would the government
they hear
by saying, well, at least you have 4 out of the 8 that are fixed now. Under the previous
let me tell you this foresight. And let me tell you why I think the government will win the election, despite what the opposition are doing. It's called politics. It's a political campaign. And if the government cannot counter that in effect, if they cannot counter that effectively, they don't deserve to win the election. Because you're in politics, you're not just in governance. You go there to win. You cannot be government if you can't win the election. And despite those curveballs, the PNP still don't have a lot to work with. So it's just for the government to get out and do their work. And based on what I'm seeing, they are not phased. The government is laid back and going on. sometimes if I give you information from a constituency, it's just that I have to give you raw based on what I'm getting from the constituents, and the supporters of the JLP are more worried than the hierarchy of the JLP, and that tells you something.
You see, so you're sensing, you're taking that to be confidence.
Yes, the JLP hierarchy knows that the election result, the overall election result, is not in play.
Oh.
At least at this moment, from where anybody can see. And that's why the PNP are working so hard, trying so hard and trying every little thing. The PNP have a different protest every other day through somebody else or something else or some other groups, because they're trying to connect.
Yeah, the supporters definitely seem to be a little bit more concerned than the hierarchy.
Yes, and why shouldn't they? They are afraid of losing. And that's a good thing, because that shows you that they will come out and vote. It's another way to wake them up, you know. We might look at it as the organization is asleep, but that concern is the supporters waking themselves up, which is the only thing better than the party waking them up. So it depends on how you want to look at it.
You don't think more activity on the ground would do more to wake them up than to just have them in that state of yes or no? Like,
yes, there will be activity. Look here. Remember, you're talking about the party that will call the election, you know. You're talking about the party that will name the nomination day. You're talking about the party that will decide how long they will campaign for. So when we are here getting up, oh, they're not doing anything, they live in that seat. They know why. They know how long they have. Only they know. So
that's true.
The supporters are concerned because the supporters don't know. The PNP are calling the election because they want something to stick. They want an idea when the election will be. The Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs make her statement to further confuse the PNP as to when the election will be called. It's like she opened the door to say, hey, there's a possibility it's December. And now leave the PNP in a conundrum. They don't know what to do, how much to spend, how much to save. But I can tell you, the governing party knows. So they know why they are not as worried as the supporters. And you got to give them that, because Mr. Chang have never failed.
Well, candidate selection alone, you know, I give him high marks for that. Impressive.
Yeah, he selects from those who put themselves forward, and he also allow the delegates to select. Most of the time, even sometime when you don't see a delegate race, it's because it's not necessary. I hear that he stated that it's not necessary for a delegate race in North Central, St. Andrew, nor Northeast Manchester now. So that gives us a clearer indication as to who the standard bearers will be.
I like the fact that the party seems as if it's really focusing on the strength of the team around the different MP, the workers. I like that, you know. And I like the sequence. You know, that means so when they actually start, you know, putting boots to the ground, it should be massive.
Yeah.
I
Campaigning is very important because foresight. Do you know how much people from a neighboring constituency campaign in the other constituency that they don't vote? So when I tell you that a neighboring constituency help another, it's no joke. I know people that lives in Southwest Clarendon, vote in Southwest Clarendon, and campaign in Southeast because where they live, it's more vibrant and easier to campaign. They get a better vibe campaigning with Southeast, and then they vote. So when I tell you that the campaign of one constituency will affect the other, it will. And wherever there's a close seat, a battleground seat, the strong seat beside it need to keep their strength and continue to be strong.
You can have a parish mode and you can have a national mode when you come on to campaigning. So I understand how that goes, you know. People catch a fever, you know.
Yeah. And you know that a lot of people that are in the mood when 5 p.m. come on election day, they have went under a voting booth. So organization again on the ground is
key.
of utmost importance.
True.
But tomorrow, guys, big up.
No problem. Bless up again, one boss.
Yeah, man. Nice talk. Listening to you. My pleasure.
Neighbor.
Yes, Casey.
Yes, neighbor.
So you are saying that you're heading to St. Mary tomorrow, eh?
Yes, we're heading to St. Mary tomorrow.
Fascinating stuff.
And parts of St. Catherine too.
Parts of St. Catherine. John Major, sleeping? Not at all. Not at all. All right then. So we had for the entire evening, Primetime was with us. And all of you who joined, thank you so much. It's been a great evening, been a great night. I see the moderator, Jamaica girl, gone. Everybody else, take care.
And it belly just start
They never do it right, man. That's why.
But when I have it before, my belly never big. When I must say I have the fibroids, the belly was flat. And we used to have blackout.
The thing is it now. My wife did have when she have my second son. I think they never put the nurse them never able to tuck in her belly proper. So it give her a big tummy, and when you take a stock, she left and go Alan and go do a tummy tuck. When she go down there, them tell her say she have hernia. So they want to take out the hernia and tuck back her belly in and everything. And now she looks as flat as good as ever.
That's the word.
You sound like a good man.
Englishman.
Yo,
give me some of that pound then.
Oh shit.
Most women they find a beg man the money, a man come and beg man money.
You think man go let woman fi give money and go give man.
You don't see man say me broke and tormented.
Instead to me said today him have 250,000 Jamaican. So me said to him, so what make you that travel with 250,000 Jamaican? You know, left it at Jamaican and now not use America.
That's why America one good bank. He can't spend up here, so we just keep you up here.
Oh God, you lie and wicked now. You have to top 10 line.
Yeah, this a man. But auntie,
You know, say, let me tell you something. We used to have a thing in Jamaica.
Auntie,
Now.
me have the whole of the Jamaican money I show the man. How much 5,000 note and sit. And the man now look for say, me not capping.
You must
Virgin, and me I show you say the reason why me have some leftovers money. What me for do? Give him my money. Time have me now walk and give him my money like he idiot. You carry with me.
You have an account at Jamaica?
Of course me have account, but me deep like cash around me. If me a travel, me not have to draw no money and go in a bank or got ATM. Me just alright, yeah, me I got Jamaica tomorrow. Take up 100,000 and 150 or 200,000. Depends. You understand? Me not have to swipe card everywhere.
You can just boil the cake, darling.
Girl, a tone her body. Massage.
Oh, Lord,
Let's
just
up massage. Hey.
Oh, Lord. Wait here, my virgin.
I was my friend in the way in the panya last night, man.
Yeah, come on England, come check you.
Come on.
I don't even see sweets tonight. You must go on a karaoke. Must.
Oh, Lord, for me, you know, because you want to give him 2 pin cross in here now.
Yo.
The lady in the kitchen, behave yourself.
My missus come down in the kitchen.
Okay.
I fit no, I don't know. Okay.
No want to get beaten.
Beaten?
Yeah.
No
want to get put out tonight.
Big man, I mean, like you where your wife.
You put your
you have to quiet now in there and watch yourself.
Me?
Your wife a Jamaican?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
She is Guyanese.
Yes, my boss, you're full of gold like myself.
You heard about the little 11-year-old then
She was showing me finally the hotel.
Yeah, me see one wall if them keep something in Brooklyn here tonight.
Right, candlelight fair.
One big sin thing up there. So what if that really happen?
No. It's a sacrifice.
Lord God.
It's like the person will do it, that then regular do it. That are something in the regular.
No, they must kill it. They must catch him.
No, they burn down in hotel. They burn down in hotel and burn down inside girl house.
And burn down in burn down in hotel, burn down in house.
So where this took place?
That's correct.
Merlin, did I put you up like that, my love? I'm gonna.
Inside girl, them to get homeless too, man. I say if you go.
The young man, the pandikana.
Outside girl.
Man, I take a little girl and this lady attacked. She said she's a spiritual lady and said like the little girl attacked through her. I tell her what everything will happen.
Aye.
Everything will. Yeah. Me listen, me watch her on YouTube and
spiritual people,
Listen to me now, no, Colleen. You listen to Charmian now. Don't you know my first name is Damas?
Damas.
And don't you know the second one is Don't Believe?
Doubtful Damas. Yeah.
All right, me love. You not tell me anytime something happen upon this your medium, yeah.
Somebody always.
One of the Sanga nights, the Krasmite, them come out and them know everything, but them never know when it did go happen.
Anything will happen, yeah.
But I take off your clothes, you make them lock off me live.
Hey, if you believe in other man, you
You're crazy.
Auntie, if you believe in other man, other man give me the lotto number. If I give me lotto number, if I give you lotto number, boss, no. Remember me tell her, hey, if I say jump, me tell. If I say run, me run.
See that?
But
auntie.
Me
decent.
Yes, man. More than
auntie.
Yeah, man. This is the real me.
Yeah.
This is the real me.
I'm telling you, natural.
This is the real me.
And Taros Riley want to see you.
They have look powers still, you know.
They don't have no powers. They don't believe in that shit too much.
No, it's evil in a world.
Yeah.
Good and evil in a world, auntie.
Me no business if I evil and good, me don't want to hear it. Me not interested. Look, I'm telling you, anytime something happen, these people always come out with some shit.
So auntie never sit up yet.
Of course.
This damn jackass.
We don't have rivers.
Huh?
Yeah, me sit up here, me see you.
Hey, cool it
So,
up,
auntie, so you see when the summer come, I not go show myself, but me just go show to you. So. One day me arrive on the bus, you one man, you put pretty, I look on my slippers and you put pretty. How what size shoes, slippers you wear?
I suck you and suck your toe.
I say 6.
Foot
Me I wear
fetish.
size 6.
In foot fetish, I suck you and suck your toe.
Thank you.
A Jamaican man, me don't know.
So that's it. You can't think they're not freaky. You can't think. You can't
Let
guess.
me meet one, you know. And once me hear him start with my foot, me block him right away.
No, auntie, hold it there.
Right away, cause guess what happened? Millions of foot out the street, yeah.
Auntie.
And him a go see foot every day. What me I do with him? It better him did have a different fetish. Foot?
Auntie.
You know, converse with them kind of people there.
But they are Brooklyn, they are 75th Street of Brooklyn. And me a pass, I see one kind of white man. So me say, yeah, me a make joke with him. I say, and he come over to me and say, give me your number. I give him a number. And the man call me. He say, when you come, I want you to come to Jersey and see me. So I say, okay. They're gonna meet up our restaurant at Jersey. So before me go in, the man say, when I see you, I'm gonna name your shit. I go power up a black him and never see him.
But auntie and labor right shot.
Me have one darling.
I'm gonna
think them with that the man they tell me to Rasta Georges. Me don't know. Me would even think some me would have go see them the people there. The things them with the man talk. It just oh my God, Jesus.
You know, say outlaw, big freak, you know. Watch it.
What's enough for them 6 stomach, man?
6 stomach, my friend.
Man, so you
what go on? You come early tonight, come.
Somebody would have really name shit.
Steve, what's up?
You know, say a 6 people in the man.
The man want the man say me fi buy all kind of sinting and me I go beat him. Me say what?
You gonna chain him up on the bed and me?
No man, me he not anyway.
Auntie, I say, wait. Auntie.
If me telling her, okay.
I didn't say nephew the right answer. I'm here.
Listen to me. If me telling you some things where that the man they tell me same want me to do. Jesus Christ, man. Oh.
Nazareth.
But him very smart, you know. I
would have cheered him up and have beat him like a cow.
Murder him to Randy house.
Auntie.
You don't forget where he come from.
Auntie, you know, so one time I had sex with one girl and the girl tell me something to thump her in her ear. Lick me in her wall.
Oh, come on, come on, 5 phone.
Oh, Jesus. You have to tell me, say I freak out and I put on my clothes and run. Me say girl start scream so. Ah! I think I want to get up there. I said, girl, start get
one thing they meet the man there, you know.
Yo, auntie, it's when the sex turn up on her mama's skin. Mama start scream out like a duck in him. Ah! Me say, all my backing crap up. Me say, auntie, I do, I say I jump off her and put on my clothes and head out. You believe me?
It's also a white chick around behind you. I met that man on the Facebook something there. And let me tell you something. Man, the man send out some sitting say, he might go buy them for when he might come see me, you know. Wow, me to beat him. So, you hear what me do that, right? Me tell him, say, when you come in. But I would never meet that man, honestly. I say, you better go to the doctor and get a letter. To make them know, say, you want beaten. Because remember, say, you out of chew down some liquor. As you see. That tomorrow morning police will come for you at your lifestyle. That me could have wanted them on the way I want all shit and peace. Me. No man. Lati. No man, you have some freak out the road. They're bad, brother. Bad.
Freaking the shit.
Boy, me have one friend in there, she not look at her papers. So when she look at her papers now, she say that the man say he might go get one dog. And meantime, he might galangins, he might go put the dog through the window, and the man a dog.
Yo, you see some, you know, like here now. Mama of a Jamaican journalist.
Yes.
I not lie to you now. Enough Jamaican left Jamaica context on liberty just to get piece of paper and to live in a
Look here. Me
No, I say we are city, I say no. But me say a whole heap of people go through, you know.
Yeah, and I know
And Jamaican alone, you know. Other nations, you know. But you know how free country homophobic you know say certain things. You know what I mean? Because me not lie to you know. Me know one girl in the master. When she talk her story, master, me really look
yeah, man, me know enough story, man.
Yo, me have to say to myself, some man really exists out there doing that.
Enough story, man. And them hang on until when them get them business, them.
They so bad. But
yeah.
Man from Jamaica, bad man, gunman, bad man leave Jamaica, go foreign and have to go through all of them something and have to sit down and take it. One call me husband and I said to my husband, say, boy, bigger, you know me a bad man. You know, so me have to come and near pussy with piece of paper.
So a Rasta man jack down and dead already in a master. As then trim off he lax, he might trim relax because he started to buff, you know. But here Rasta, but the woman that he was washing in front